Hey, it's James from Finney Electrical, and we've got Ellis from Finney Electrical, and this is Apprentice Tools Fault Finding. Let's get into this. So we haven't started the video yet. He's trying to fault find it already. Right then, so into the job then. But Ellis is knocking over things. Right then, so we've got a fault. We got a fault. This is all we know. So it's a nursery, and the lights are tripping out. I know this. Yeah, this setup's a bit janky. There's been 50,000 cables everywhere, but we're just trying to keep things running as cheap as possible for them and make it all safe. So. Yeah, we've got this. Looks like we've got this strip in here. So it says creative plate and outside lights. That is the circuit then. So what do you think we should start then on this?
Well, we'll turn it on to be honest.
Yeah, it's alright. Yeah, can do. It's turned on. Hey, that's ended there for sure. So right then. So we've turned it on then. So we've got these lights here. So what we need to do is identify what that circuit even does, if that's the circuit that's the issue, and it is. So what I'm going to do is turn all the lights on for this section and the building. There's a section upstairs, Alice, just so you know. Oh, it's tripped. So what we'll do is we'll turn on all the lights now, and any light that we can't turn on is stuff we need to look into then, isn't it? So we get identifying what we need to look into. That's step one. Yep, so you've identified it is that circuit. So you just flipped it back on. No, I'd turn it back on. So let's try and turn everything on in the building, and then when it trips again, we know what the light was on and now it's off. Yeah. What's the findings then? So what's that circuit doing then?
Basically just in this room.
Right, so does this room, does it do that room back there as well?
No.
Let's have a look. So it's tripped, that light was on and it's off now. So it does this back room, and then we just figured out the side rooms it doesn't do that either. So should we, what do you think? Should we open up the fuse bar maybe? See how many cables in the breaker? So there could be multiple circuits there. And there could be one. So that might be a factor to his fault finding. He's nicking out his pocket. Oh. Gotta pick your pocket up too. Right, let's get him open. So turn it to the left. And then get him open. Right, see what we're dealing with. So, as I imagine, flipping messy. Which one is it then? It's that one. And how many cables we got in there then? Two cables in there. So, what do you think we could do then? What do you think we could do, Ellis?
Disconnect the neutrals.
Disconnect the neutrals? Do you think we'd take the lines out, the neutrals out?
Yeah.
Figure out which lines for which neutral and power out one of the circuits. Or you could test both, couldn't you? And see which is the bad one if you want to do it dead. Yeah?
I say test both.
Oh yeah, let's test both then, let's do this. So line out, neutral out, and well yeah, that's it. Get these little sexy CK slimline drivers, look at that, there's no bevel on that, is there? So I said to Ellis, I said, oh, you're not going to get that driver in there. But look, it fits in an RCB on nicely all the way to the end. Because normally it's got like a big ridge around it, like that sticks out a good like 2 mil each side. You can't fit them in breakers. Look at that, well done CK. Right, go on then, we'll that's off. So we'll undo them 2 lines, and then we'll undo that little connector block. We'll need a flat. Right, so just pop them out there. So we've got 2 lines, 2 neutrals. So how do you know which lines for which neutral then if they're both in together? What could be a good inkling?
New colour, old colour.
Right, so we've got brown and blue for the new colours, and then we've got red and black for the old. So I bet the new colours will be the emergency lighting, because they said the emergency lighting went off, and the old colours will be that lighting in there and that little storeroom then, yeah?
Yeah.
So should we get the tester out and test? We could test the RCD as well, which might be wise to make sure that's working and there's nothing wrong with the circuits, but we need to test both, don't we? I'm pretty sure you come up with that idea, didn't you?
Definitely.
Hey, they're singing. Father, give it.
You have one of the worst voices I've ever heard in my life. goodbye.
I know the song, it's great. I thought they were going to sing, we will rock you. Oh, right then, so, I can't even concentrate, let's wait for this to stop singing. Right, they've stopped singing now. Yeah, I'm one of these that can't concentrate when there's stuff going on. Right then, so, we've got the circuit here, it's protected by an RCBO, so what 3 functions has that got then?
You've got your overcurrent.
To overcurrents, what's that then?
So, this breaker's maximum 10 amp.
Yeah.
So anything over 10 amp it'll trip.
Little trips, that's overcurrent, nice. And then we've got, what else we got then?
Short circuit.
So short circuit, so when does that happen then in this scenario then?
A low resistance.
Right.
Therefore creating.
Low resistance, so like when live touches earth or neutral, it creates a low resistance.
Therefore creating.
And then a high
ampage.
High current, yeah. And then trips. So if you had 230 volts and you did 0.01, what are you going to get? Work it out, that's
23 grams.
Yeah, so it's a lot of amps, big bang. To say a 13 amp kettle, 23,000 is quite a lot, right? And then what else does it do than this RCBO?
Earth leakage.
So earth leakage, okay. And then what's the rating of this one then?
30 milliamps.
So 30 milliamps.
So anything over that it'll cause it to trip.
So if you've got anything in this circuit then that's line to earth or neutral to earth. Basically the line goes out, goes through a solenoid and comes back. If it goes anywhere else, which is the leakage, if it's more than 30 milliamps it's going to trip in it.
Yeah.
So there could be a war in a fitting, there could be some fitting that's on its way out and that's creating more than 30 milliamps leakage. So they're things to be looking at then. Right, and so as far as finding what's what then, so we've got 2 cables we've pulled out. We need to test which is the good one, which is the bad one, so we can actually use this tester to find the readings, so that's pretty cool. So it's not just like turn it on and going poof, and then you run over. Was it over here? Do it again, Ellis. Poof, and it's like bomb disposal. I shouldn't say that on YouTube. I'll get demonetised, right? Right then. So then, what we're going to test then? So where do you think you start then?
Well,
so you can test on this. Would you start at a low resistance? Do you think?
Well, yeah.
So bang on continuity. It's that test between what then?
20 is it?
0.
Oh, 0 and 2 greater than 2,000.
To greater than 2,000. So this tester tests between 0 ohms to greater than 2,000. And if it's outside that, it'll just say greater than 2,000 if you test it between 2 conductors. So let's test at that and see if we've got any short circuits then. So this will prove unless the appliance powers on, and then that's when it short circuits, but it'll prove if we've got any dead shorts currently. And you're doing line to earth, neutral to earth, aren't you? So continuity, press test. So for this one you have to hold it down. So greater than 2,000, and then if we're going to try the other line, nice and quick then. Getting 2,000 neutrals. You never know. To be fair, short circuit. I'm talking rubbish. That's short circuit is line to neutral or line to earth only. Right now, we're going to test it at the bigger scale then, so we've gone from 0 to greater than 2,000. Now we're jumping up the scale. If this is low resistance, that's high resistance. So we're testing from 0.01 mega ohm all the way up to greater than, so if we test at 250 volts, it'll be greater than 200. So let's do line to earth then on that one. So this is on the new conductor, it's a brown. What do we get? Oh, 0.28. So that's quite low. So anything under 1 meg would indicate an issue, but we need to test them all, don't we? So we'll point that down, we'll send him to hell. So I always point that down. If it's good result, I point it up. So here, 0.26, it's bad again. So both lines are bad. Let's do the neutrals just to check, to see if we've got one of them a bit worse. And what have we got? 0.26, and then let's do that other one. Right, so it's both circuits. It's both circuits we've got to look into basically. So let's dive into these circuits. We will test the RCD as well, but this showing a bad result is indicating that it's most likely the circuit rather than the RCD. Right then, with testing then, so what's the best bet then when we look into these circuits? So look, normally if it was wide, you got to think how it's wide, don't you? So it could be from your fuse board, feeds to switches in and out, and then switches a cable up to your light to make it work. And then you could go in that switch and disconnect the feeds coming in, and then you'd have a cable going back to the fuse board via whatever, and a cable going out into the circuits, off to the next switch. And then that way you'd have a good side, a bad side. Yeah. So if it was good, if you disconnected the switch and then you went back to the fuse board, tested and everything were clear, then you could actually cap everything off, turn it on and see what turned on, and then you know what you're looking at essentially. So that's one way. That same, if it was feeds to lights, it would be the same thing. So it'd be cable out and then into your lights, to your next light circuit, and then a cable down to your switch. So in that case, it'd be the same thing. So you could get to that in the middle somewhere, which you would think, split it, and you got a good side and a bad side. Your good side you ignore, anything that'll power up and work, and your bad side you'd have to look into. So, but then in this scenario, it's just all over, isn't it? So we could look into that. Or what do you think? Do you think what else could we do then? So sometimes it's best just to go for the obvious stuff. So Ellis pointed out that there's emergency lights. There's only maybe 3 to look at. That might only take 10 minutes to take out. And then that could be the obvious stuff, and it could be that straight away, that's just watering light fitting. So it's always good to check the obvious stuff, which doesn't take a lot of time. And then after that, then dive into the circuits. So with sockets, you don't just start taking off every socket and messing about, when you could check for the obvious stuff like something plugged in, you know what I mean? So yeah, start with the obvious stuff is what I'm getting at. That's step 2. Right then, so we've got a light there. I'm not going to do these steps, am I? So step 1 we're identifying your circuits, what's not working. Step 2 was, if there's multiple circuits, take it out and test what's good, what's bad. And then, and check your LCDs. And then steps 3 is looking into the circuit itself, but then checking the obvious stuff first, which doesn't take a lot of time. Let's do this.
Oh, found it.
Right then, so we've got a good side, bad side on the emergency lighting. Let's see if that's cleared it though. Because we've got a circuit here with a good side and bad side. So if it's clear back at the fuse board, it's whatever cable after that is bad, and it could be on the emergency lighting, you see.
Yeah. Well, this one.
Right, so bring that bunch down, so you're bad cables, and then good cables go to heaven, right? So we just noticed we've got these outside lights, but we might need to look into if it's on that circuit. So that's something to keep it back in your mind. Right, down you come. We're not making it live, so it's fine. You're gonna bring ladders in. Obviously put it back and make it all safe before and put it back together. Yeah, you can't leave stuff dangling out, can you? Right then. So we'll test back at board then, see if that's cleared. Right then, so Alex is ready with the test then. Press test then. So we've got line to earth on one of them. Oh, greater than 2000, right. So we've actually got somewhere in it, won't it? This is going to be a quick video, right. And then neutrals. You never know, you just never know. And I'll tell you something silly as well, I've just noticed.
Not really, isn't it?
Yeah, that was easy. Well, not really. It's just on one of the emergency lighting light legs. Right. So what the other silly thing is, obviously there's the lights in there, and it does lights in the room. It also does emergency lighting, which I knew. Look at this key switch. So literally, whilst you were testing earlier, we could have gone off, and then if the double pole. So if it's live neutral in, live neutral out, then yeah, all we have to do is take them screws off and have a look. And then we would have found out it was the emergency lighting, and we could have left it all on and seen which emergency light. We can still do that now. So we'll have to cap them off, power it up, and then if these are double pole, we can turn these off and then turn them. Figure out what circuit that's on, and then turn stuff off and on. And then the emergency lights that are left on are good, because that could wire anyway, because it just pees through a wall. It could go to any of them, couldn't it? So, right then, I know, I'm being a bit wordy today, but yeah. So what we're going to do then, we'll have to cap off the good, so obviously comes back to here, and then the bad ones we can leave, and then we'll turn everything on and see what's not working, and then we'll look into that, yeah? Yeah. It's just it's a lot harder with lights. It's easier just to power it back up rather than go to a light, take it apart, test it, is it good, is it bad? Or you could just power it up again and say, right, 20 lights there are fine. And then we've saved yourself like an hour's worth of work of pulling stuff apart and testing. The cable's down, so they'll go off to some circuits which we need to look into and find. But these ones going up will come live, won't they? So, but what I'll do is I'll cap them all off. We can bank earths together, because that doesn't really matter, because earth is common. We'll separate those lines then. Line and neutral. Right, let's get another way go out. So, they're the good ones, they're the bad ones. So let's see what's not working for the emergency lighting, and then we'll have to split it again, but we'll go for the most obvious again. That's the rule. And then if you can't find out of the obvious ones, then you've got to then start splitting stuff and checking everything, and that's when it gets a bit lengthy, these processes. So as you can imagine, if we had to take every single fitting apart and mess about with all these and the switches, we'll be here all day. But we've been here we've been here about half an hour. Right, Alice has just turned that on then, so let's just make sure the lights are on then, really. So note what emergency lights are on. So this one's on, so we can ignore that. But a cable went out and went somewhere, didn't it? That one there? But it could go into that and then off somewhere else, so we need to have a good look around, really. There we go, this is on. That's on, and then, what, you got one off over here? So that's off, is it?
Yeah.
Right, so we've got one emergency light off there. So, if that's it, we'll look into that, but we'll need to look everywhere. Make sure all the little green indicators have gone off then, yeah. Yeah, so these are on. Outside light are on from other side. So literally, it looks like that light there, this light here, and then one light outside. So, where? So in there, looking at. Right, so because we've got 1, 2, can't count. Where are these? Can't see it. Where is it?
It's just above it.
Oh, is it? Alright, I was guessing it's that bright, is there? So 2, 3. Right, so because it's like 3 or 4 fittings, we're gonna go for, what's the rule of thumb? We'll go for the obvious. We're just gonna do this outside light then, yeah?
Yeah.
So we'll go into that and make sure there's no water in that. So we'll disconnect that and check the cabling. And if it's bad, going back, it'll probably come into this one, then into this one, and then over to that one, and then out to that one. Right, so what we found then, so when he opened up the fitting, like a cable, well, it looked a bit dodgy, didn't it? So, he's testing it now.
Yeah, it's clear.
Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Sweet, right, so it's either a dodgy fitting. So, do you want to bang that back in and just leave it open? Then we'll go to the other side and then test the cabling, because it could be the fitting. It says the wiser to the fitting's dodgy. But if we test that cabling of the bad side and it's clear, then it could be the cable itself is dodgy, so we'll probably strip it down and re-terminate in that case. So it's all about scenarios with this kind of thing. Around there, we'll have to turn the power off and get that. Sorry, we'll have to test that if it's clear. Then we're good and we can get the power back on. We have a dilemma. Yeah, so I think it turned out when Ellis was testing earlier, I don't think he had his earth on properly, and those greater than 2,000 readings was wrong. The fault was still there, and all we'd done was disconnected the cable going out to these lights, which were clear. So we weren't actually disconnecting the one going back to the fuse board, which it'd appear if you got clear readings at the fuse board. So I'll explain what's going on. Right, so we've got 2 cables going out for 2 different circuits. One does the old lights, one does the emergency lights. And what we're doing, we're testing one, and then you'd disconnect the cable and it's clear, and then you'd test the other one, and then obviously it'd be there. So we knew there was a link between the 2 circuits, well, just because from the test results. So it was either a link on the neutrals or a link on the lines. Now these type of these lights, they're dimmable. So you basically got a retractable switch, you press it in, it pops straight back out again. So you press it, and what that does is it sends 230 volts to the top switch, and these receive a pulse. So, but they've retrofitted these. So obviously that would have been a normal cable that goes up to here, and when you flick it, it just turn on. But with this case, it needs to receive a pulse of that cable going to the light. So they needed an extra cable, which was nicked off this little junction box here, which is for the emergency lighting. So yeah, that's where the link was between the 2 circuits. They basically nicked a singles line to provide a permanent power there. So it's got permanent live and neutral, and then it receives that pulse to turn on and turn off. You hold it down, it'll receive it, and it'll start dimming and going dimmer and then brighter, dim and bright until it stops receiving that 230 volt signal. Right then, so this is where we're at then. So we just tested line to earth, neutral to earth, and we found that the fault finally is on the old lighting. The emergency lighting, which is on the brown one, is actually okay. So it means we can ignore all the emergency lights, we can put them back together, there's nothing wrong with them. But with the readings that when Ellis tested earlier, we're getting the 2000, it looks like the issue was on the lights because it cleared at the fuse board. Yeah, it's very confusing in the testing. Right then, so now we're going to dive into the old lights of the building and not the emergency lights. So we've just eliminated all the emergency lights basically. Right then, so we're back at the old switch. So what we've done in this switch, we've got some neutrals that come through this box on the line. So we just feed in, feed out, so we can split it here and then see if it clears at the fuse board. So now, if you had a line, if you had a line and it's bad, and my voice is all croaky today. If you had a line of lights and you're testing it one and it's bad, if you chop it in half and the beginning becomes good, it means all the way from the start up to that point it is good. So we can ignore that and then focus on the bad, and you just keep chopping it in half, chopping it in half, chopping it in half. Chop, chop, chop. How much wood would a wood chopper chop if a wood chopper would chop?
We're still bad.
What?
We're still bad.
It's still bad, is it? And then do your neutrals. So I've disconnected that bit of it, and sound right then. So the fault's still there. So now we can check the outgoings of those neutrals going to the lights though, which is cool. So that would then tell us if that beam's fine, that beam's fine, that beam's fine, and then it'd eliminate them 6 then. So we'll keep chopping it off. Chop, 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 chop. Right then, so test the one coming in. So that's the one down. 0.24, right, so it's most like the feed side, but let's test them just in case they are leaked out. Yeah, greater than 2000. So it's greater than 200. I can't see that point, that decimal place.
They're all good.
Yeah, so it's still, these lights, we don't need to touch any of these. So literally we're left with those outside lights here and that room there. So, and there's a couple of storerooms at the back. So win-win, we're getting down there, we're chopping. Right then, so we're just splitting circuits for the switches. It's feaster switches, which is nice. So we've just disconnected this. So as you can see, we've got feed in, feed out again. Strapper's going over. So with that disconnected,
It's clear.
this was clear. And Ellis was just telling me that the fuse board's clear, which is cool. So if this is clear, then we can ignore all that. So we're going to put that back. Ellis is telling me the fuse board's clear, so we're going to check that out. But basically, these two here were bad. So them two were bad, those two were good. So one of those will most likely go over there. Ellis just told me the fuse board's gone clear, which means if that's the case, and this is the only switch open, we can cap all these off, turn it on, find out which is the feed in, turn it off again. All the clear ones we can bang together, all the bad ones we can leave out. We'll turn it on again, see what turns on. Anything that is off, then we need to look into. So that's what we'll do. Let's check this fuse board being clear now. Right, so we're now live then. So we've got the lights on and got everything connected up, which was not showing bad readings. So we've left that cable out and we've left that cable out. So we've got to go around and see what isn't working. So, don't know. So we go around, if everything's working, and there's no lights not working, we'll just leave them out and then that'll be it, you know what I mean? Might have to put it back in if it's tripping. But yeah, so we're going to go around now and just make sure like all the switches are switching properly, all the lights are turning on, that kind of thing, if you know what I mean. Let's check these. These tested out fine anyway. Yeah, these are on. And then does that do this room? Yeah, so these tested out fine anyway, so I'd expect them to work and not trip. Yeah, let's bob around and see what's going on. Alright, we're venturing outside now, so the cable's going up, which are the bad ones. It looks like it went to that photo cell out here. So just for the sake of like 5-10 minutes, just going around, disconnecting switches and pulling picks apart and putting them back together. It's now led us out here, and all the lights are on and now inside. So we're left with this. So we've got this security screw we'll have to get. We'll split it here, because basically it does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a big sign, a big whack off sign on the side. So hopefully we don't have to go in the sign and we can just, it'll be one of these we have to disconnect. But if we disconnect it here and it's bad going that way up to the sign, then it's going to be a bit annoying. Look at this, fucking trash. Look at this. That's indoor cables running outside. No, it's got bad IR readings, cracking. Yeah, same circuit, 0.53. There's no switch in that. It's a light switch. It's coming up here. So there we go. It turns out it was them dodgy lights outside widening the indoor cable. So yeah, but this building is about 3 supplies, and there's 3 fuse boards here and 3 over there. And there's outside lights wide off other stuff, which isn't ideal. But yeah, just to show, then it's well over 2 meg, like, well, 1.99, and then obviously test that one. 1.97, do the neutral. There we go, 1.99. So before it was 0.74, so we've got rid of that. There was a cable random in that switch, we've left that disconnected. Don't know what it does. But then we've just connected up the cable going back up to the photocell, which goes to the lights. We've disconnected the light on the corner going out to those 3 weird things. So we're just going to quartz and swap them over, and there's a light at the front. So we'll recable all that in outdoor cable, external cable, and then that'll be this job done then. Sound. Hey, so then, so what do you think of that fault finding, Ellis? Tough, yeah. So it went right easy, and both of us were dancing, and then it all went wrong very fast. So for next, yeah, those dodgy lights there, and there's a cable that goes around the corner, so we'll have to quote. I need to have a look really. I don't even know what's around the corner, but whatever it is, it's all knackered. But it's like a cumulative effect, so those were like I don't know, 0.7, and then the cable around the corner were 0.7. It ends up with a 0.5 thing going out. Yeah, it's just tacks along there, then does what? What does it do? Tacks along here. Flipping heck, it's gonna be. There's a loop there. Goes for miles. Oh, we're done, Ellis. We're done. That was hard work, and it was freezing, and my hands were going blue. Couldn't feel my thumbs. So yeah, there's just like a light around there to refeed, so great. So yeah, that's all we've got time for today. We were going to show you the other fault finding video, but I think this is like nearly 20 minutes long. So if you like this kind of content, hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the little bell notification so you know when next upload. As always, that's good for me and Ellis, and we'll see you on the next one.